What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have why 2025 will never forget this UN moment. I really like reacting to him. He seems like he absolutely does his research and very knowledgeable on the topics that he talks about. So I get to learn a lot. So y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel. I'll drop his video link and channel link in the description. Also, subscribe to this one, give the video a thumbs up, and if you like to support the channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit the join button and receive your exclusive benefits. Let's get to it.
Wow. Okay. This is what I do. I extract the best and brightest and most likely to impact the future geopolitical analysis of the greatest minds in the world. And I wondered when 2025 was going to have a speech that blows everyone out of the water without all the flossy, Nazi, and vilification that we've been hearing lately. And Dr. Jay Shankar from India, thank you.
Well,
he is the man of the year here at the UN. And
if it was anybody who was going to deliver a speech that was going to shake things up, come on. It does not surprise me one bit that it was Jay Shankar.
I doubt that this will be topped in 2025. The last couple of years, Africa's taken the W's with Burkina Faso and Mali. But this year, 2025, India's Jay Shankar takes the cup. He takes everyone to school here. And it's speeches like this that after you listen to, it's like not even the best universities in the world could have educated you within 20 minutes the way Dr. Jay Shankar does right here. And now I suggest you grab a drink, subscribe, and watch this thing through. It's the greatest UN speech of 2025.
I'm so excited to hear this.
Way to go, Jay Shankar. Cheers.
Madam President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen.
Namaskar. It's always like strange when I'm reacting to a reaction or to a reaction. But like I said, I love hearing his insights, and I love listening to Jay Shankar. So
from the people of
we get to hear the full speech.
We are gathered here 8 decades since the founding of this unique body. The UN Charter calls on us not just to prevent war, but to build peace. Not just to defend rights, but to uphold the dignity of every human being. It challenges us to stand as good neighbors, uniting our strength so that generations to come inherit a world of justice, of progress, and of lasting freedom. Madam President, forces unleashed by history since the founding of the UN propelled this body forward. As decolonization advanced, the world began to return to its natural diversity. The membership of the United Nations quadrupled, and the organization's role and remit grew significantly. In the era of globalization, its agenda evolved even further. Development goals took center stage, even as climate change emerged as a shared priority. Trade acquired greater prominence, while food and health access were recognized as essential to global well-being. Where security was concerned, the UN undertook peacekeeping operations and promoted disarmament discussions. As a result, the UN became a natural platform to debate key global issues. Madam President, we must ask ourselves today, how has the UN lived up to expectations? And just look at the state of the world. There are 2 significant conflicts underway, one in Ukraine and the other in the Middle East, West Asia. Innumerable other hotspots don't even make the news. The slow progress of the SDG Agenda 2030 presents a sorry picture. On climate change, The reality is of recirculated commitments and creative accounting. If climate action itself is questioned, what hope is there for climate justice? When a once-in-a-century pandemic hits us, we saw open discrimination in access to vaccines and to travel. Energy and food security have been the first casualties of conflict and disruption, especially since 2022. Better off societies insulated themselves by having the first call. The resource-stressed ones scrambled to survive, only to hear sanctimonious lectures thereafter. When it came to trade, non-market practices gained rules and regimes. The resulting concentration exposed the world to leveraging. On top of that, we now see tariff volatility and uncertain market access.
My God, this is one I usually pause as we're going through, but I'm listening to the speech and I don't want to pause this. So I think I'm going to let this one play out until the end, and I'm sure you guys prefer it that way as well, because what he's saying right now is absolutely sensational. And I'll save my comments until he's finished.
See tariff volatility and uncertain market access. As a result, de-risking is a growing compulsion, whether from limited sources of supply or over-dependence on a particular market. Economic concerns have other dimensions as well. Heightened technology control is one. The grip on supply chains and critical minerals is another. The shaping of connectivity is no less sensitive. Protection of key sea lanes has become a challenge. Restricting the evolution of a global workplace is an issue. Each makes a compelling case for more international cooperation, not less. But are we really headed in that direction? And where has the UN actually made a difference? Madam President, as members of the UN, we meet here as sovereign equals. That is not a formalism, but a recognition of the inherent diversity of our world.
Yeah.
Understandably, we have different history, traditions, heritage, and culture. For them to coexist, for them to enrich each other, it is imperative that we foster understanding and respect.
Oh my days, thank
This
you.
will only happen when we resist political interference and economic pressures, when narratives are free of prejudice, when double standards are abjured, and when pluralism is truly appreciated. Madam President, Excellencies, while asserting our rights, we must also firmly face up to threats. Countering terrorism is a particular priority because it synthesizes bigotry, violence, intolerance, and fear. India has confronted this challenge since independence, having a neighbor that is an epicenter of global terrorism.
And I've seen this little clip.
For decades now, major international terrorist attacks are traced back to that one country. UN's designated lists of terrorists are replete with its nationals. The most recent example of cross-border barbarism was the murder of innocent tourists in Pahalgam in April this year. India exercised its right to defend its people against terrorism and brought its organizers and perpetrators to justice. Because terrorism is a shared threat, Madam President, it is essential that there is much deeper international cooperation.
Agreed.
When nations openly declare terrorism a state policy, when terror hubs operate on an industrial scale, when terrorists are publicly glorified, then such actions must be unequivocally condemned.
Agreed.
The financing of terrorism must be choked, even as prominent
Agreed.
terrorists are sanctioned. Relentless pressure must be applied on the entire terrorism ecosystem.
Agreed.
Those who condone nations that sponsor terror will find that it comes back to bite them. Madam President, an objective report card will show that the UN is in a state of crisis. When peace is under threat from conflicts, when development is derailed by lack of resources, when human rights are violated by terrorism, the UN remains gridlocked. As its ability to forge common ground diminishes, belief in multilateralism also recedes. Central to the erosion of the UN's credibility has been resistance to reform. Most members strongly desire change, but the process is being made an obstacle to the outcome. It is imperative that we see through this cynicism and purposefully address the reform agenda. The historical injustice done to Africa should be redressed. Both permanent and non-permanent membership of the Council must be expanded. A reformed Council must be truly representative, and India stands ready to assume greater responsibilities. Madam President, today the predicament of the Global South is especially acute. Bharat, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, believes that it has both a duty to contribute and an obligation to motivate. That is why we have undertaken more than 600 major development projects in 78 countries, as well as innumerable community-based initiatives. They range from large infrastructure to small livelihoods, from capacity building to people's welfare, from concrete assets to education and training. Turbulent times require that we step forward during moments of crisis. India has been forthcoming in that regard, especially in its immediate vicinity. Whether it is finance, food, fertilizer, or fuel, we have responded to the urgent requirements of our neighbors. Madam President, climate events and conflicts have created a demand for HADR assistance. Reflecting our growing capabilities, Bharat has endeavored to be a first responder. Be it essential medicines or relief supplies, the operations of a field hospital or limb fitment camps, these efforts covered 19 nations last year. The people of Afghanistan and those of Myanmar saw India extend its hand during recent earthquakes.
Oh, wow.
Our efforts at ensuring safe commerce, combating piracy, and preventing attacks on shipping in the Northern Arabian Sea also bear mention. And the Indian tradition of UN peacekeeping operations continues in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in Western Sahara, Central African Republic, Golan Heights, Cyprus, Lebanon, Abyei, South Sudan, and Somalia. To put it clearly, our soldiers ensure peacekeeping, our sailors protect maritime shipping, our security counters terrorism, our doctors and teachers facilitate human development the world over, our industry produces affordable products, our techies promote digitization, and our training facilities are open to the world. These remain the core of our foreign policy. Madam President, each one of us has the opportunity of contributing to peace and prosperity. In the case of conflicts, especially Ukraine and Gaza, even those not directly involved have felt its impact. Nations who can engage all sides must step up in the search for solutions. India calls for an end to hostilities and will support any initiative that will help restore peace. The last decade in Bharat has also seen transformative changes due to the vision of Prime Minister Modi. Our digital public infrastructure has redefined governance and enabled delivery of public services on an unprecedented scale. Our startup ecosystem, innovation culture, and microfinance are changing the face of society. Our rapidly growing infrastructure facilitates both ease of doing business and ease of living for citizens. India remains committed to sharing its experiences and tools with others on their journey of development.
Sorry, I heard the trash man. I didn't know what that sound was.
Artificial intelligence, as a horizontal and cross-cutting technology, has a particular promise for development. India's approach is to harness it responsibly for human welfare. Inclusion and impact will be the watchwords for the summit that India will host in 2026. Madam President, Bharat approaches the contemporary world guided by three key concepts. One, Atmanirbharta, or self-reliance. That means developing our own capabilities, building our own strengths, and nurturing our own talent. We see its results already, be it in manufacturing, in space programs, in pharma production, or in digital applications. Make, innovate, and design in India also benefit the world. Two, Atma Raksha, or securing oneself. We remain determined to protect our people and secure their interests at home and abroad. That means zero tolerance for terrorism, robust defense of our borders, forging partnerships beyond, and assisting our community abroad. And three, Atma Vishwas, or self-confidence. As the most populous nation, as a civilizational state, as a rapidly growing major economy, we are confident about who we are and what we will be. Bharat will always maintain its freedom of choice and will always be a voice of the Global South. Madam President, these are certainly challenging times for the international community. Many of our assumptions and expectations no longer hold. In such circumstances, it is imperative to stay strong, to hold firm, and to deepen friendships. International cooperation must prevail because islands of prosperity cannot flourish in an ocean of turbulence. A world order requires common purpose, as it does empathy for others. That is where we look to the United Nations. Madam President, every member who can make this world a better place must have the opportunity to do their utmost. And for that to happen, reformed multilateralism is the obvious way. The 9th decade of the UN must be one of leadership and hope. Bharat will do its fair share and more. I thank you.
It was the first one where a country came out, Jaishankar came out and explained everything that India is doing. All these other countries, all of them, I've been watching it all, have been playing victim. India is playing the helps. And that's
Facts.
so nice to finally see. One thing about Indians, they're not going to be a victim.
I think what I loved about it so much was that it just feels like India is absolutely ready to lead the world. Like India has the mindset that I feel like, to me personally, I believe would be most beneficial to the world as a whole. And that's absolutely amazing. First off, he wasn't afraid to call out the United Nations. Hey, like we're all coming here together. Like we're here supposed to be making this world a better place, supposed to be resolving conflicts and helping people that are hurting and suffering. But look at the state that the world is in today. Whatever we're doing, it's not working. Things have got to change. The world is shifting. He talks about a world where countries have to cooperate. There has to be more cooperation. There has to be more cooperation with the countries that don't have a voice right now. They have to be included. He said there has to be more permanent seats and more non-permanent seats. There has to be more inclusion, bringing other countries to the table, seeing what their issues are, how they can be helped, and how they can help others. Right. He talked about confronting terrorism and answering it with what was, I can't even say the word, equivocal, just confronting terrorism and stopping it in its tracks, sending a message. He talked, like he said, he talked about everything that India is doing, not only in India, but for other countries as well. He talks, oh my days, everything about that speech was just absolutely freaking amazing. And then he talks about how India is ready to step up and take even more responsibility. They're ready for a bigger role in the world. And I absolutely agree. Man, Jack, I mean, I know he's an external affairs minister in India, but I'm just saying, like, can we get Josh Shankar? Can he lead our country, bro? Because that right there is how a leader speaks. That was incredible. That was sensational. 10 out of 10, man. He held everybody accountable while also wanting to hold them accountable in terms of we need to change the direction this world is going in right now. We need to change things up. That's all we have. I'll see y'all on the next one. Let me know y'all's thoughts in the comment section.